And we're going live. And you ready? Here we are in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Make Me a Nerd. I'm Mandy Kaplan, a mainstream mom whose mission it is to explore all things nerd culture that I've been missing out on and afraid of my whole life. Coming to you live from my kitchen because I live in the valley and it is 115 degrees outside and I can't record in my studio. So if it sounds a little echoey, I apologize, but I don't want to die for the sake of my podcast. I have an update. Pete, if you could play breaking news, some kind of sound cue that'll get people excited. An update from Megan Parlin about the rehearsal episode that you all heard a couple weeks back. She sent me an article that said, since the show ended, a bill is now moving forward, a move that Fielder said may have been influenced by his HBO series. In June, the U.S. House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure voted to approve the Mental Health in Aviation Act, bipartisan legislation that would require the FFA to encourage pilots to disclose mental health conditions, something they are not currently doing so as not to lose their jobs. The bill would allocate $13.7 million per year to recruit professionals, including psychiatrists. I love when an artistic endeavor turns into something real and can affect change in the real world in a meaningful way. So I take back all the negative things I said about Nathan Fielder and the rehearsal. I loved it. It's perfect. I love Megan. She's perfect. I'm being an asshole about the last stuff, but I really do think that's very cool that he took something creative and made change. So way to go. Maybe Spirited Away will make us legalize bathhouses. Who knows? I invited a wonderful guest today, solo, without his partner. We'll see how this goes. He has been on Make Me a Nerd covering Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Exorcist. He is a film professor and podcast host, and I'm just going to say it. He's a goddamn delight. Everyone, Kynan Diaz. Back.
Oh, Mandy, you're a goddamn delight.
I think that's 3 swears for me so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know we were allowed to do that in this show. But...
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. So, hi. It's wonderful to see you and to be with you to talk about Spirited Away. Before we do, you said, oh, I'd love to do something Ghibli.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, huh? What's that? What do you mean? Can you explain what Ghibli Studio is and give us a little primer?
Yes. So on the film side of anime in Japan, like it is the most prestigious. So sometimes people in the West will say that it's the equivalent of Disney. I think after you've watched one movie, Spirited Away, you might be like, not really. it's its own sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's led by their main director, who is Hayao Miyazaki. And so those terms, his studio and his name, Miyazaki and Ghibli, they're kind of interchangeable in a lot of people's minds, but there are also other really talented directors who've worked there. And a lot of what we think about as like prestige anime comes from Ghibli or other studios or other filmmakers who were living in the shadow of Ghibli. So like starting in the late 80s or so, which is when anime starts to come over. So it's like distinct from like the TV side of anime, which is like so nerdy that I can't go there.
So good to know.
You have to find someone who can really, really show you the real nerdy stuff of like, 1,000 episode things that have gone on.
I've done One Piece, and I have some anime coming up about figure skating, combining 2 nerdy things. So I'm all over anime.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, is it offensive when I pronounce it anime, or should I say anime?
Oh, I think it's offensive when I overpronounce it as anime.
As do I, Kynan, but I wasn't going to call you out.
Right. Anime is just the Japanese shortening of animation, right?
Sure.
So, yeah.
And you already, Professor, pre-answered my question is Spirited Away considered anime? And you have answered that. It
right. Is. Yes, absolutely. So really anything that is animation in Japan, they would call anime, but we would say like any kind of Japanese animation is
with
anime.
The giant eyes. Like there's a look that you can call anime comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. And the giant eyes, though. Sorry, I guess I'm going off on like a film professor history tangent, but like
Go for it.
the
Can
giant
I get a
eyes.
hall pass? Can I go to the bathroom?
It's college. You can go. You don't have to ask me, Mandy. You all are grown-ups here.
I want to
I'm
go
not
back to
gonna police.
college.
I'm not gonna
Cool.
police what you do here, man. We're here to like rap and.
I love your corduroy jacket with the suede elbow
Yes,
patches, by
yes.
the way. You look
Thank you very much.
fantastic.
No, but the giant eyes, which of course in the West we look at and it's so distinctive for us, the people who were inventing, the Japanese anime style in like the 50s and 60s, especially on TV, they were trying to copy Disney eyes.
Oh.
So to them, they're like, Snow White has gigantic freaking eyes, and so let's do that. And then, but to us, we just see Snow White, and we see it.
Right.
We're in the culture, so we don't see it as different.
Right. I think
Yes.
Snow White has had work done, but that's just my own theory.
At 14 years old, girl.
Yeah. It's never too early to start. So Spirited Away is what we did. Now, you said this isn't your favorite, but it is the most beloved, well-known
It's
Ghibli
everybody
film.
else's favorite by far.
Okay.
So I thought that's a really great place to start. Yeah.
I appreciate that for the clickbait. Let me give everybody, this is the highest grossing Japanese film until 2020. 10-year-old Chihiro is thrust into a world of spirits after her parents are mysteriously transformed into pigs at an abandoned amusement park. To save them and return home, she must work in a magical bathhouse run by a powerful witch, uncover the secrets of those around her, and summon a strength she never knew she had. That is the plot.
She had the power inside of her all along.
Didn't she? Not the first time I equated it with Wizard of Oz. Now,
absolutely.
I started to chuckle as I read that, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but anyone who knows me heard me say, after her parents are mysteriously transformed into pigs, and they thought, uh-oh, Mandy watched this movie. Like, I can't believe Mandy's watching this movie. This is not my sensibility.
Right.
I am a boring, factual person. I'm not into, wildly imaginative world building things. So just reading that description, and I have a couple of others that were just like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. This was big for me. This is hands down, unequivocally, a beloved film on Rotten Tomatoes, 96.
Yep.
And it starts off very realistically with the parents driving little Chihiro. They're moving into a new home, in a new place. And it is so sad. This lonely little girl in the backseat, her parents aren't really focused on her. It's just all, and the music is sad. And I thought, oh, God, what did I sign up for? This is so sad.
Yeah, so it starts off with so even I think fans of this, as I've taught this movie in class in a couple of different contexts, I think even fans of this movie take for granted how incredibly sad it is. So the first thing we see is like this card of like, goodbye Chihiro, we're gonna miss you, and it's got flowers. And then when we see her perspective looking down at her feet from when she's in the car, and when we finally see Chihiro, she looks like a corpse in the back of the hearse. So she's got her little flowers, yeah, but she's got her little flowers and she's holding them like she's in a casket.
Bartender, I need another. I did not make that association. That is so shocking and so sad.
Luckily, she's not dead.
No, but she is drawn sad as well. Her little eyes are just sad eyes.
Yeah, they in Miyazaki's book, they talk about her being drawn pouty, like having a pouty expression at the beginning, right? Yeah, but it's about her coming back to life. She feels like a lot of 10-year-olds do from being removed from the old life, that my life is over, and she really means it. And I think that's one of the reasons why the movie like affects people so much, is it takes childhood seriously. And it doesn't like we're not seeing it like some Pixar movies do, like we're seeing it from the grown-ups, and we see like what the children need to learn in order to get over this, like we're ahead of them, like we're with her, and none of the rules make sense and everything is crazy. And then she just finds this inner strength seemingly out of nowhere, right? As opposed to like a lot of like American movies, or they're like, you have to learn this task to become stronger. Like, what is the thing that separates her, that makes her come alive, that saves the day? Like, I don't know if we can really actually pinpoint it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it is quite well, I compared it to a few things just because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. It's
Sure.
not to take away from its originality because it's
Mm-hmm.
wildly original. Uh, and then they turn into pigs, and I wrote, "They're pigs? What the hell is this? This can't be made for children, right? I'm freaked." And the
Mm-hmm.
only way I knew that it was made for children was because I watched it on HBO Max with commercials, and all the
Uh-huh.
commercials were for toys and kids products.
Right. Yeah.
I really think it's not for kids. I think it's a terrifying movie.
Kids love it. Kids love it.
What kids, Kynan? Introduce me to some of them.
I think that for a lot of kids, it peeks into the adult world, which is what happens to Chihiro, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you are, a lot of our stories in the West, though, that are about this are even harder on children than they is to Chihiro, because like a lot of our stories in the West are like about orphans, and they're about like you lost your parents. I mean, so that's like Batman and Luke Skywalker and Rose Whittaker DeWitt in Titanic and Dorothy Gale. Like they're
Hmm.
all got dead parents, And
Yeah.
Chihiro has potentially a happy life, but she's just kind of melancholy and can't put her fingers on that. And I think a lot of kids are like, this is me. This is literally me. I don't know what's wrong with me. Everyone tells me there's something wrong with me, and I can't look around and point to what it is. And then I'm forced, before I'm ready, to experience what it is to be a grown up. And it turns out that it's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
be okay with that. Yeah. And that's one of the chapters in Miyazaki's memoir, which is a two-part gigantic thing, turning point, and all of this.
Hello. You
Hello.
guys, he is straining to lift a book.
Turning point and starting point. There's two of them, I swear.
Oh God, that's funny.
Right, but one of his sections on Spirited Away is titled, quote, "Don't worry, you'll be all right." Like, that is the message that he said he hoped to get. And I think a lot of the young people I listen to who tell me that this is their favorite movie of all time, that's what they get out of it.
Wow. And then you let them pee whenever they want. You are really
Whatever, man. I'm not here to tell you what to do.
you're making the world a better place, Professor. I want Pete to
Mhm.
put up a picture, because as they enter this world, there are such stunning shots. The art direction in this movie is stunning. And I put the ship at night next to a building. Pete, if you can put that picture up, it's like art. It's
Mhm.
not like a movie. It's
Right.
absolutely rich with color and light. And oh my God. Who is there CG involved in back then, or was this hand drawn? How did this come to be? It's so beautiful.
Yeah, hand drawn, and Ghibli avoids what a lot of studios were doing in the late '90s, like this one, which is to CGI everything. So there's a couple of shots where they're going to use CG to help with depth, like this beautiful shot later on than the one that you're talking about, where Chihiro is chasing after Haku and she's going through like flowers and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
there's all these really
Mhm.
cool layering. So I really don't mind the kind of computer aided animation that they do at Ghibli in this time period, where a lot of other studios you'd see them like, all hail the computer overlords, and
Mhm.
not do that. So they were maybe more resistant than others, but they weren't like, they weren't like completely tossing that out as an option to use computers. But no, they love the hand-drawn nature of things, and they still do hand-drawn movies. So Miyazaki had a
Wow.
movie 2 years ago called The Boy and the Heron, and so yeah, that has more CG aided effects, but yeah, the majority of it's hand-drawn.
It makes such a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of the CG movies because of
Right.
having a kid, and they can be beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have that emotional effect knowing a computer did it. It doesn't
Right.
hit me in the heart the way this did.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's interesting. Hopefully you'll see some more Ghibli movies, because there are some that are easier to understand than Spirited Away, I think, and easier to track what the hell is going on. But Miyazaki comes from television, so he comes from Japanese television, and so animated television is very much like cut all the corners we can, like
Oh.
as long as it's got like a soundtrack that the kids can understand while they're eating their Fruit Loops or whatever, like
Mhm.
like don't worry about it. And like I don't know, you maybe have seen like the parody of anime. It's like me in a pose and then like flashing lights behind me or something, and we're gonna like use that every episode like 3 or 4 times. And that's just not, once Miyazaki gets his hands on his own studio, it's like, no, we're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of like
Yeah.
care on these things.
Yeah. He said in my grandparents' time, it was
Mhm.
believed that
Kami, you're right, the
kami
gods.
existed everywhere in
Hmm.
trees, rivers, insects, wells, anything. My generation does not believe this, but I like the idea that we should all treasure everything because spirits might exist there. And
Hmm.
we should treasure everything because there is a kind of life to everything.
Hmm.
And that comes through in every frame of this movie that even
Right.
the evil characters
Yeah.
have heart, and even there are inanimate objects that come to life later. And
Mhm.
what a beautiful sentiment.
And humans who we treat as humans, or like human characters, and then they turn out to be things like rivers, and we've been
Mhm.
building this relationship with them, and it turns out that we've been having a relationship with nature and the environment without realizing it, and how like we are key to them, right? um yeah, so in Miyazaki's grandparents generation, it would be kami, it would be the gods. Miyazaki is of this generation that is more about like environmentalism, right?
Mhm.
And like you could see how those would be very different and a big pivot, but in his films they're not a pivot, right? They are holding on to the old while looking forward to be like, well, what do we have to do now as Japanese people in the 90s and 2000s to save the planet, right? In the wake of things like not just climate change but nuclear war, which is
Mhm.
really key over all of Japanese cinema like since the 1940s, right? Is nuclear war is like in the background, but it's even in his anime, which is again like he's growing up and raising children in a time when everything could go away, and like holding on to these moments and holding on to the spirit that is in a rock or in a bathhouse or in a door, right? And honoring it.
It's so interesting as you're talking. It fills me with this beautiful respect for life and
Mhm.
positivity, and
Right.
also a deep sadness.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what comes through in this film. And
Mhm.
it's not as simple as they don't wrap the film. It has a happy ending, but it's not a big musical number where it's like now everything is okay for everybody all the time. And
Right.
there's such a the sad tone of the opening did go away.
Hmm.
And then
Right.
it became suspenseful and funny and also sad, but that heavy, because in the beginning in the car there was this very sad piano music that was really making me just want to curl up in the fetal position in the shower and cry. So
Right.
I'm a shower crier, and that's
Hmm.
what. But that all did go away because there was too much adventure
Right.
and beauty to go on. But there is such an underlying sadness to this movie.
Yeah. There's a term in Japanese that we don't quite translate well. It's mono no aware. Mono means things. No is like an apostrophe, and then aware, it looks like aware, so like AWARE.
Mm,
So sometimes we'll just use that and say that this means like the awareness of things, but it's not. It doesn't literally mean aware. It's something like the ineffable nature of things, or the passage of time, or impermanence. And
mm,
that's really key to most Japanese stories. Is the cherry blossom festivals and that
mhm,
kind of thing.
mhm,
So like the reason that's so big in Japan is because of Mono no Aware. Like we have to go and see the cherry blossoms now because they only last for like 10 days. And
mhm.
then they're gone, and you go there, and it's not just like, wow, look how great this is. It's look how great this is, and how brief this is. And that's what life is. That's what positive moments are. That's what negative moments are. But it's just, you sit by the river and be like, the river's not always going to be there. And I'm not always going to be here to see the river. And that's like this. So for us, yes, it's totally sad. As I understand it in Japan, it's more than just sad, it's also empowering. But in
Yes,
the West, yeah, we're like, such a bummer that we're not going
right,
to be here. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, we could all use a little more of living in the now and appreciating every moment, and it is all fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There you go. Hopefully that'll make some nerds out there. Life is fleeting. This too shall pass.
yes. So Chihiro is now, well, she meets Haku. Is that his
Mm-hmm.
name?
Yes.
Haku, voiced by an old friend of mine, Jason Marsden.
Oh, really?
And I flipped when I heard his voice, and then I thought, uh-oh, now Kynan is going to know I watched it in English.
I wondered. I mean, that's fine, I think, for a first viewing. Yes.
It's always the debate, and I've tried both. And for me, I have an easier time focusing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that way if I do look aside at a cat or something, I don't miss anything. So I
Yeah.
opt for the English. I might not always,
Mhm.
maybe the next time, the next Ghibli I'll do in Japanese. But
They really do good dubs, though. So they make
oh,
it
these were
difficult because their dubs are
phenomenal.
really strong. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jason Marsden is just the best. He's
Mm.
for those who don't know him, he's been huge in the animation world for years and years and years. And he had his baby just before we did, and we were in birthing classes together, and he's a doll. Um, so she's in this magical world, and she has to get a job at the bathhouse.
Mhm.
Is there anything sexual about that to you?
That hadn't occurred to me because yeah, bathhouses in Japan are very non-sexual.
But it's all female employees in their beautiful robes,
That's
and
true.
all these big, large male ogres or monsters coming to
Hmm.
get bathed by them.
Geez, when you say it like that, yeah,
Mhm,
I guess that should have occurred to me over
mhm,
the 6 or 7 times I've seen this movie. So,
mhm.
so yeah, I don't know, but in that world, it's completely parents bathe with children, you bathe with strangers. I'm too much of a prude. I've never done that, but yeah, you just bathe with strangers, and everyone just knows that it's not about sex, and don't make it
Right.
about that. And yeah, so yeah, that's that world.
I was the kid or adult
Hmm.
in backstage areas. All the actors are, you have to rip off your
Hmm.
costume and put on your next costume. And I was the one who mastered like holding a towel around me and shimmying out, and so I wouldn't have to reveal anything. I love a moo Kynan. That's a
Yes,
fun fact
great.
about me. Um, so she's in this world, and she goes to see the six-armed person whose name I didn't write down, voiced by David Ogden Stiers, whom I love.
I love him.
And there are these little balls with legs. And they're like little spiky balls.
Yeah.
And I wrote, Tribbles. I'm such a nerd.
You've learned it. It's a
They look like
triple.
tribbles. Um, and so she's trapped in this world in order to save her parents.
Mhm.
And I started typing, this feels like Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Young girl trying to save her father, has to stay in this world. And as I was typing that, I heard the voice of Susan Egan, Elle
Mhm.
from Beauty and the Beast, who plays Lynn.
Mhm.
So I thought maybe I was prescient because I didn't look up a cast list for most of the movie.
Okay, and David Auden Steers is the clock. Geez, what's his
Yes, Cogsworth.
Cogsworth Jeepers. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Yes. So there are several, I forgot that, but there are several links. And kids in trouble, kids in peril is tough. I
Hmm.
hope for everybody.
Right.
She's a tough little spitfire, but she's scared and
Mhm.
sad, and
Right.
it's heavy watching her negotiate this world.
Hmm.
And then they give us a really funny moment in the elevator. Pete, please put this picture up. She squeezes into the elevator with this sumo. He looks almost like a furry squid.
Yeah.
Do we know who he is? He never comes back.
He never comes back, and
A
that's
lot
the
of nipple.
I think with a lot of these little creatures in this movie, you could try to look it up and like on the fan wikis and like see like where they are, like if they're based in some real mythology. But I think a lot of them are just made up. I think a lot of them
Mhm.
are just like let's make some crazy nipply tall
Yes.
people, right?
And
Yeah.
she can't, I mean, she's just squished in there, and they let this elevator ride go on a bit too long, and I needed that levity. I
Hmm.
like the comedy in that moment because other than that, we're watching a terrified little girl
Hmm.
realize she's trapped in this scary world.
Yeah, in this world of indentured servitude, and that's the advice she has to get through this is, if you know, you can turn into a ghost or a spirit, or you can become an indentured servant. Like, those are your options. That's really,
Right.
really terrifying.
It is all terrifying. And then we meet Yubaba,
Mm-hmm.
voiced by Suzanne Plachette, who I
It-
wrote is like the Harvey Firestein of 70s sitcoms. Thank you. She, I mean, she is one of the scarier
Mhm.
creature slash characters I've seen in a while. And one of the things she does to Chihiro is take away her name
Mhm.
and says, I'm going to call you Sen.
Mhm.
And that is how she controls people. And I wrote, that is some cult shit right there. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
Charlie Manson's girls, those weren't their names.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And that is so part of a cult. If we take away your former identity, then we define you
Yeah.
and you have nowhere to go.
And your sense of self. Mhm. Yeah, but I think for this time watching that, thinking about this, in like the era where we're telling children they have to keep the names that we gave them as kids, and they're not allowed to pick their own names and that kind of thing, and that's some kind of crazy woke ideology or something like that. Really struck me this time, of like, yeah, like a child should be able to have at least the one thing that's theirs, right? They don't, even if they have their own room, it's in their parents' house, and they kind of understand that, and
Mhm.
what is it that is theirs, and their parents pick their food and their and their clothes and everything, and there's one tiny thing that they have that they can control. And so here, the movie was made in 2001, and I've seen it many times and hadn't really thought about that, but just how scary that actually is. The first several times I've seen it, I was thinking about it in terms of like, it's magic, right? And it's like this magic thing this witch is doing, but like, that's a real thing real people do, like Charlie Manson, like you're saying. And that really hit me this time for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I love that a non-parent is saying, we don't let kids control enough in their lives. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. Casey has plenty of control. It's fine.
I'm saying from the kids' perspective, we don't
Right.
understand the wide world. Right? Let me have this one thing. Let me call myself Ladybird instead of Christine. Like, let me do these things.
Right. Right. I was watching and she goes to visit her parents and
Mhm.
they are pigs,
Yeah.
but they're her parents. And I
Yeah.
wrote, well, I don't know that I'll eat bacon again. Thanks a lot, Kynan.
My cat is named Bacon. He's the one who's sleeping under my chair right now.
Oh,
So,
is he really?
hi, buddy. Oh, he just put his hand on my foot.
Love that. Let's switch our topic to cats and why we love them.
Right. It's the cat hour with Mandy and Keenan.
Right. Now, you have no way of knowing this, but I wrote, why did I think this movie was about a horse?
I know why you thought the movie's about a horse.
Why?
Did you figure it out? No, okay. Because there's a different movie called Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, from about the same time in America,
Oh my God.
where Matt Damon is a horse.
It's like when I watched Supernatural and 40 minutes in, I was like, where's Superman? And Jared was like, that's Smallville, you idiot. Like I was watching Supernatural
Mhm. You're like,
thinking any minute now,
which of these
which
guys?
of these guys is going to become Superman? Um, I am not bright. And then I guess I wanted to ask at this point why is it called Spirited Away? What's your philosophy behind that?
What a great freaking question.
Thank you.
I don't know why it's called Spirited Away. So, I mean, that's part of the fear, is that she'll become a spirit and have to leave the world.
And I guess she is spirited away from her reality
Her
to,
reality.
a spirit world.
Yes.
But it didn't.
Yeah, I had to look up the Japanese title, and I was like, wait, it's something different in Japan. But what it is in Japan is Sen and Chihiro's spiriting away. So it
Oh,
is Spirited Away. But they have
okay.
her listed as two different characters.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Great question, Mandy. Is this
Everybody
the
who's
content
listening,
trying to say? I don't know.
if you're listening and you have a theory, I would love to hear it because
Hmm.
it didn't immediately. Nothing came to me like, oh, I get it.
Right.
It just didn't feel like the right title. Not that I have a title that I thought was better,
Right.
but maybe it's somewhere in this kami that Miyazaki was talking about.
Hmm.
There's something more about like spirits everywhere or spirit in all of us or some, I don't know. There's something better there.
Yeah.
I'll write a strongly worded letter to Ghibli and I'm sure they'll change the title. Have you ever been to Japan? Side note?
I have not been to Japan, so I'm only like half of a weeb because I haven't gone and done the full thing.
Are you into Japanese culture or is it
Uh,
just
yeah.
anime or?
Well, when I grew up in Hawaii, and
Uh-huh.
so like how you study Spanish in elementary school up here in the Southwest, I'm in Vegas, like that's what we do. We would study Japanese instead, so that was what we would learn. And so I have Japanese cousins, and then in Hawaii they have like the Spanish channel up here. There's Japanese channels, so I grew
Oh,
up
okay.
on some Japanese TV. So yeah, some of my white friends know a lot more about Asian culture than I do, even though I'm Asian. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I have not been to Japan.
Okay.
Wah,
I was
wah.
just curious. No,
Hmm.
hey. Uh, then we meet this sludge monster who comes
Hmm.
in. I'm not really trying to break down every detail of the plot because I didn't understand it.
Right,
But
right.
but I can make a mean comparison. Pete, throw up the picture of the sludge monster next to his doppelganger, Jabba the Hutt. Right?
A little bit, yeah,
Kynan,
yeah.
you can't see these pictures. I can try and show you side by side.
I think I know what Jabba the Hutt looks like.
I'm nailing it. Uh, fair enough. All right, you're a nerd. Um, but the sludge monster was nasty. There is a lot of scatological stuff in this movie
Hmm. Yeah.
and a lot of puking, a lot
Hmm.
of drooling and pooping. And it's, is that, is that accepted in Japanese culture or that's
No,
considered?
not in everyday life, but in their I think that's why they go to their media for it, right?
Yeah.
Because it is a much bigger taboo for them in that world to do that. Um, but again, I think that's what kids like about this is to see
Right.
bodily functions. And we were talking about honoring everything and loving everything, and that becomes how she sort of navigates the world is like this stinky thing, and then her learning to see past it, and then
Hmm.
but like people get eaten, and we're so trained to be like, okay, well, they're gone forever, but no, in this world they come back and everything's
They're
fine, and
regurgitated.
they're regurgitated. Yeah, they're spit
Yeah.
up and it's gross, but everyone's back, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it, kids.
And in this part of the movie, we are face to face with No Face,
Yes.
who is scary as hell.
Yes.
Just this black, shadowy figure with a face, but the face isn't his actual face. It's just a mask above his mouth. And
Yeah.
it's,
Turns
oh,
out that's not his face. Yeah, there's
yeah.
definitely a thing there. Yeah, and he is scary and also funny. Like I think he's that perfect thing for kids where like I'm afraid of him but I want to be his friend. Like I want him on my side, and he's so ethereal,
Hmm.
and we have these big close-ups of his like expressionless quote unquote face that have so
Hmm.
much expression to them, right? When he's like trying to give the money and you look at him and he's like, please, like, and you see this
Hmm.
all done, all this character acting without dialogue. So you'll start seeing some of these characters as you go just in the street on people's t-shirts and stuff, Mandy.
Oh, okay.
You'll start seeing them everywhere. You'll see
Right.
Chihiro, but you'll definitely see No Face on things from now on.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he's
I'm
everywhere.
going to look. And every time I do, an angel gets its wings and I'm going to think of you. There were many times in this film, it felt like they were going to burst into song
Oh
because
yeah.
it's very heightened,
Hmm.
right? I mean, that's definition of a musical.
Hmm.
And then at an hour and 7 minutes, when Lin and Sen are eating rice balls and
Hmm.
talking about getting out of this place, I was like, aching for a song. It just felt so right in that moment. And I thought this would make a beautiful musical.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because now I'm thinking about, movies from my past, like in America, and it'd be like, yeah, they'd be singing somewhere out there
Hmm.
beneath
Right?
the pale moonlight. Sorry, Pete, if that's going to get us in trouble if I sang too much of the song.
I just can't believe someone else sang on my podcast instead of me. Well, I I make shit happen.
Hmm.
There is Spirited Away live on stage. The production features elaborate sets, original music performed live, and intricate puppets to bring the beloved characters to life.
Hmm.
After its premiere in Tokyo in 2022, the show had its European debut in London in 2024 and is scheduled for a run in Shanghai in 2025. It is performed in Japanese with English captions.
Hmm. That's great. You did it.
I manifested it.
That sounds crazy. Like, I hope they keep it. I know you like the dubs, but I hope they keep it in Japanese, even if you're not catching everything, because it sounds like it'd be great as some kind of more than a musical, like an opera, like with these giant puppets and things like that. Like that's what some people like about like watching the movie once for a Ghibli movie, and then in English, and then putting on the subtitles, and then just kind of just looking at the imagery and the feelings
Mhm.
and the vibe of it once they kind of
Hmm.
know the story. So
Yeah,
I have a lot of friends who will do that. So they'll say, yeah, to get the story, I'm going to watch it in English, and then afterwards I'll just let it ride me through and just like be in these spaces and around these crazy designs, and that is the experience for me, even more than like plot.
that's cool. But it
Mhm.
would mean I would have to have understood the story.
Right. But maybe if we weren't so hung up on like dialogue, man, maybe we
Right?
just found it within ourselves, man, and honored the kami within all of us, then we would get it.
Well, speaking of the dub, I
Hmm.
love Chihiro's voice. It's a young actress named Davy Chase, and when I looked her up, she's Lilo.
She's Lilo.
So,
She's Samara in the ring, right? I think.
oh, I don't know.
I think so.
I believe you. I can't remember if I ever saw The Ring. I know
Oh,
the image of the girl crawling.
oh yeah, through the
Yeah,
TV. Yeah,
yeah.
she's from the ring. Yeah, she's the Samara in the ring. So
Oh,
someone else will have to bring you into that nerddom.
I knew the girl, the actress who was the crawling girl
Oh
in
wow, that's
Silly.
cool.
I know it was really what a claim to fame. Uh, I wrote here, great. Now I'm scared of origami. She somehow manages to get chased and attacked
Yeah.
by angry origami
Hmm.
birds.
Razor sharp
Yes,
that plow themselves into the side of the building. Yeah.
it was so inventive
Hmm.
and dark and bizarre
Yeah.
and wonderful. I mean, it's how do you make origami scary?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, it's they do such wonderful, like beautiful, inventive, like these soot monsters and stuff like that. It's weird how they're able to have like this wide spectrum of these soot monsters that are just like cute little things with eyes, and the little arms look totally cartoony, totally safe, totally like Mickey's Clubhouse huggable, and then in the same thing can have realistic looking, or it's kind of realistic, like dragons who are bleeding from their mouths and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and things that are incredibly dangerous, incredibly scary, all within some of the same frames.
Hmm.
That's pretty nuts. So that origami thing, and they're attacking this little girl, but also her little rat friend and stuff like that. It's like, how do these things exist all in the same plane? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it, it it again. It occurs to me it's not for kids, but I believe you when you tell me kids love it.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, can you guys all reach out and say to me, "Oh, my 6-year-old loved this movie." I'm curious.
Hmm.
I would even do a follow-up interview with one of those kids.
Yeah.
They maybe they're a little older now and they want to hop on the podcast and let
Right.
me ask them. I wrote on my notes, I have bad dreams from this.
Oh, I don't think you will, because in the end it turns out that they're all your friends, these razor sharp origami that are going to eat your face.
I don't mean just the origami,
They're
the
just your
whole
buddies.
thing. But there would be a really cool origami number in the musical.
Oh, that sounds great.
When I covered Mommy Dearest on
Mhm.
the podcast,
Yeah, I listened to that one. Yeah.
right, and we did if it were a musical, what would the
Mhm,
names of the
mhm.
songs be and where they would go? I wish we had done that with this because I feel like it's really ready. I mean, obviously they made it into one. I'm
Mhm.
late to the party, but um, I am finding the plot
Mhm.
almost like a series of fever dream vignettes.
Yep.
It's convoluted, and
Mhm,
even reading plot summaries, because I do try on Wiki if I'm feeling
mhm.
confused uh, and then I said, "Is that just me?"
Nope, I don't think it's just you at all. It's incredibly episodic, right? And unlike it's really easy and I think helpful sometimes to compare it to Alice in Wonderland, to Wizard
Mhm,
of Oz, to Star Wars. Um, but what those have for you that kind of hides how episodic they are is that there's a physical place we're going to.
mhm.
Right. So it's okay. So here's the poppy fields, here's the flying monkeys, here's this, here's that. But her journey is internal, right? So it just feels maddening sometimes. Like what order is it? That's why before we got on Mike, I was like, I'm a little worried because it is the movie of the Ghibli canon that I know the least, even though I did watch it again.
Right.
Because it's like, what order are things? Like you have your notes, which are great, but like is the stink monster before she meets the soot monsters? When do the heads get turned into the baby? Like none of them actually like hit into each other, you know what I mean? Like none of them are like
You
dominoes that
sound
cause
like you're reading a Mad Libs. It is it's so bizarre. There are heads, just green heads jumping all around on their own. It's
Right. Uh-huh.
terrifying.
When does No Face eat the frog? Like it's because even as I was watching, I was like, when are we going to get to the train? And I was like, oh wait, no, the train's at the end, obviously, duh. But yeah, everything is so internal, which again I think is why it's not better or worse than Alice in Wonderland, but it is I think very catching because for children or adolescents, because it's like, yeah, I didn't wake up one day and I'm an adult, like something, like I'm not really aware, I can't place if someone asked me like what were the events in order that made me who I am, and
Mhm,
like she's just working day to day, and these things are happening, and it's not like a lot of the stories that we're used to where here's where Luke gets the lightsaber and here's where Luke meets Han Solo and is challenged to do this. Like they are so random. They're so episodic.
wait, is this all happening in her mind? Or did this all really happen?
Hey man, I didn't say that, but yes, that's what some people say for sure.
Oh,
But I
like
just
a
meant internal, like in her
Dorothy
heart.
waking up.
Right, right, right. I mean internal, like just it's psychological. Like by the
Uh-huh.
end of it, she's brought back to life and knows that she wants to continue on with her life. But it's not like because I got the Wicked Witch's broom and I learned the magic words. Like none of that happens really. It's just
Mhm.
that she grows up. But some people have read this is like Dorothy, like Alice in Wonderland, that it's all a dream or it's all in her mind.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's less like little clues in this that would say that that's actually what's going on.
Mhm.
There's not a scene where she wakes up, or even the kind of clues are in Alice in Wonderland where she kind of like wakes up from it at the end. But
Right.
some people have read it that way.
Yeah, I actually don't know Alice in Wonderland. What?
Mhm.
I know what's with me. Um, uh, so Yubaba, who I just referred to as Harvey Firestein, uh, she is the evil, evil, evil
Mhm,
bad guy,
mhm,
and she has a baby, a beloved baby that she loves, and the
mhm,
baby is a giant.
mhm.
I wrote, "How the hell can that baby talk?" Uh, but I'm glad it did, and then I was actually the baby was annoying. I was glad it got turned into a hamster or whatever it
Oh,
was.
me too. And I was upset that it got turned back into a baby at the end.
Mhm.
It was much better as a hamster.
Yes. I and then vultures are
Mhm.
attacking, and I said,
Uh-huh.
"Great, now I'm afraid of vultures too with top buns because they have Yubaba's hair on top."
Mhm, mhm.
Is this a movie stoners love?
Huh.
Hmm.
Probably. As a non-stoner.
Kynan is looking up and off to the side,
Yeah, like,
like
probably.
I've just rocked his world a
A,
little.
a lot of my stoner friends like it, but now I'm trying to like draw the Venn diagram of things. A lot of my stoner friends like The Wizard of Oz.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That has not occurred to me.
Well, I
Yeah.
think if you're stoned, you would
Hmm.
not be concerned with following the thread as much as
Hmm.
going on the ride.
Right. And just like,
So,
yeah, look at this, feel this. Yeah.
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 I'd be curious about that. I'm not a stoner, but
Right.
I'd be curious to come at it with less analytical approach.
Hmm.
And if I weren't watching it for my podcast, I probably would have given up on it because I would
Hmm.
have felt lost. So
Right.
I'm glad that I had a reason to watch it and pay attention and take it all in.
Hmm.
But I might have, had I been stoned, just gone on the ride and thought it was beautiful. And
Yeah.
it's an interesting experiment.
It's interesting for me how, yeah, it is episodic. It is maybe chaotic. It is confusing. And yet, when it gets to the last like 20 minutes or so, when they go on that train, I find it really, really compelling. And everything just kind of slows down and they let it like breathe and you think about it, you know? So as chaotic and crazy as it is, it goes to this place. And of course, you don't know that the first time you watch it, right? There's no
Hmm.
way for you to know that, like, this is just going to be my life forever, these fever
Hmm.
dreams. But I think that, maybe you can't achieve that like real sense of calm that you get at the end of the film if you didn't have all this chaos.
Yeah. The train going over the water was breathtaking. That's
Hmm.
actually where I asked if there was CG involved. But
Hmm.
uh, has no one taught Chihiro about stranger danger? How does she
Um,
know no face won't hurt me?
Stranger Danger, I think, is a pretty American idea.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
There are game shows in Japan. There are Japanese games. That's another thing you should do for Make Me a Nerd is find someone who really knows those Japanese game shows and have you watch those. But there are game shows in Japan where they send out like a 6-year-old with a camera and they're like, here's like Amazing Race style, or like around the neighborhood, and like
Uh-huh.
go and see what you can do on your own.
Wow.
Like how independent you can be.
No, thank you. But now, if anybody wants to come on and watch Japanese game shows with me, that sounds
Yes,
exciting.
they're crazy.
Oh, I don't, again, the mom in me is like, mm-mm. And then do we know why Chihiro has those adorable red smudges under her eyes?
I think that is just her making her design to look like she's it's just to help, I think, her look adorable.
It is
It's just
adorable.
part of her aesthetics, like the rosiness to her cheeks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But it looks under her eyes like a football player puts the black
Uh-huh. Oh,
tape under. So,
like war paint. Yeah,
yeah.
I like that.
I wrote they would never be able to plummet to Earth talking and land safely. Is this not based on a true story? She and
And
why
Haku.
do I
Yeah,
not remember Haku
yeah.
jump out and they're just like, so anyway, and they're just talking as they're
Let's
plummeting to
talk about
Earth.
our memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is so funny what we're willing to accept. Like he was just a dragon
Yeah.
who she cries tears onto and then tells him his middle name and then he turns into dragon petals. But we're also be like, why can they talk? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. It is a fever dream. It really is.
Yeah.
I was very disturbed when she passes the pig test.
Hmm.
It's that for me was like, what have we put this little girl through? This was all so disturbing. And now she has to identify which pigs are her parents.
Hmm.
Um,
I forgot the solution to that riddle. Again, I think it happens to me every single time, and it stuns me. Yeah, that
I
they
don't even
are.
remember a riddle. Remind me.
So Yubaba's like, you have to pick which one of these pigs are your parents, right?
Mhm.
And like, as proof that you don't have a connection to your old life, that you're still here. And she looks and says, none of these are my parents, this is a trick. And Yubaba's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, none of them are. And Yubaba's like, hooray. And it's like, oh, every single time, I think that really surprises me, because it's set up so much like in the sequel to Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz, where you have to go through and like see which of these relics used to be your friends, and crazy scary
Wow.
like that. Yeah. Oh, that's terrifying. You haven't seen that, Return to Oz?
Nope.
With what's her name from The Craft? Anyways, so
From
yeah,
The
that's crazy.
Craft.
Yeah, Firuza Balk. What's her name?
Veruza Balk. That is
Yeah,
her
yeah,
name.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's Dorothy in that one, and she has to go through, and there's a giant room, and your friends have been turned into knickknacks around the room, like at the
Uh-huh.
end of Indiana Jones 3, and you have to look and see like which one of them is your friend just by like feeling their vibes. And it's like little like teacups and watches and doilies and things like
I
that.
feel like you're making so many of these things up. I don't know if I believe you.
I'm not imaginative enough to think of these things. This is from the world of other people's minds.
Okay, I'm going to get deep.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Heads up. So it's all about getting your name back. Is there an element of this that's about divorce?
Oh, I like that. I wouldn't. Yeah, that's great. I haven't thought of that, Mandy. Yeah, so go ahead, Mandy. I like that a whole lot.
It just seems to be, to reclaim who you are and remember who you are and get your name back. And that, I know that is so important to people after a divorce.
Right.
To shed a life that wasn't right for you.
Yeah. I wonder about that. Like a lot like my mother, like kept her name after the divorce, and felt like at that point it was too late to, whatever, reclaim. Like what a personal decision to make. Like I can't even imagine being there. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder, the names are so important in this movie. And then my last thought was, is this a Wizard of Oz? It was all a dream scenario, although she has the magic or the purple hairband.
Right.
So that would imply that it's real.
Yeah. So there's only really tiny, subtle things like that have any sort of evidence that's there. Right. So it's not as overt as in the Wizard of Oz or anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you can read in so many different ways. And again, like I think adolescents like this movie so much because it is about the second lives that people have, away from the way that your parents see you or the way that they might have seen you at your old school, your little town, and how scary that is. And how that is just what childhood and adolescence and like growing up is until you figure out who you are. And for a lot of people, it doesn't happen until much, much later in life, right? But like the ideas of myself as a child, the ideas that my parents or my teachers tell me or that I have for my friends or that I read about, this is what little girls should be. And she gets to go and live this other life, this grown-up life, and get to experience that in the span of like an hour in real life, right? But come out as a stronger person. Yeah.
As you're talking, it's occurring to me that was theater camp for me.
Yeah.
And have you seen the movie Theater Camp?
No, I haven't.
You must. You must. The way they arrive at theater camp is like they have been freed from whatever negativity they've been going through at their home and in their schools. And that my theater camp was my saving grace growing up. And this movie Theater Camp is hilarious, but it also captures how much this means to all of them.
Right.
To truly be themselves.
Sometimes you come back and some people from those experiences find that they can't even communicate to their old friends, their real friends in the real world. Like, I'm such a different person now. And then some of them find it so liberating that they have stronger relationships with those people or realize that they need to have different friends. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really, really beautiful movie. Just lush and also just spiritual. And yeah, I think every time I do watch it, I'm like, but it's so crazy. It's such a crazy, chaotic thing. Am I going to come out of this at the end okay? And it's just so relaxing. The last 20 minutes or so, just slow, not a big climax. And everybody becomes a friend, right? She's able to convert every single person. So Yubaba is terrifying, and she's this, terrible Russian style witch, but she's able to call her granny, and she's not fully like in some of the other Ghibli movies. They fully convert the bad guy into being like a part of the team, like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But here they reach this kind of detente where just like, you're calling me granny, that's weird, but okay. And you kind of see her soften without meaning to, without
Mm-hmm.
them coming to some thing where they shake hands or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
What is your favorite Ghibli movie?
Mine is the actually saddest one.
Oh boy.
Which is called The Wind Rises,
Okay.
which was supposed to be Miyazaki's last film. He's retired several times.
Okay.
So
He's the Brett Favre of anime. Go ahead.
yeah. So the last time that he retired, it was after this movie he made about this airplane designer leading up to World War II, who loves airplanes as art. A lot of Ghibli movies are about aviation. Ghibli comes from the name of a type of Italian airplane, the Ghibli. And this is this aviation designer who sees airplanes as art, and the only way he can achieve his art is by working for the Japanese army leading up to World War II. So he starts designing these planes that are going to kill thousands of people. But he has to like balance that, like, is art worth it? And it's like like
Sounds
really
hilarious.
really
Also for the kids.
oh my goodness. Yeah, that's my favorite one. But if you're
Wow.
saying with the children's style ones, yeah, Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro, that's everyone's. Have you seen a Totoro?
No.
Okay, once you see My Neighbor Totoro, you'll see them everywhere. They're on T-shirts and mugs, and they're in Toy Story 3. They're everywhere.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing this movie with me. I am relieved to know. No, I mean, I enjoyed it. I admired it. I didn't quite understand it.
Right.
And for you to say that's okay, that's everybody's experience with it, or most people, and that thrills me. It's like I didn't miss anything, or I'm not missing out on the experience of it. So
no, I think, well, that's my experience of it at the very least. And I've seen many of the Ghibli movies. I think this is the most confusing. So sometimes when people are like, this is my favorite, I'm a little like, what about the much simpler ones? What about those ones that make some sense? But they love it.
That's great. I am going to share my business with everybody, and then you're going to tell everybody where they can hear more from you, which they should just go do. I want to tell you all that Make Me a Nerd is a production of True Story FM, engineering by the peerless Pete Wright. My theme song is Wonderstruck by Jane and the Boys. You can find me on Instagram at Mandy_Kaplan_Clavens, and those are both with K's. And you can find me on TikTok at Mandy Miscast. And I'm also on Blue Sky as Mandy Miscast. It's pretty exciting. I would ask you all to please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and reach out. Let me know what you think. It helps more people find the podcast. And if you are feeling extra supportive, please go to makemeanerd.com/join. Hitting that button will get you your episodes ad-free and early and help me continue this mission. Okay, Kynan, where can everybody hear you?
Great. So I am part of a comedy duo with my good friend Lester Ryan Clark. We call ourselves Banana for Scale, and we have several movie-focused podcasts, including The Exorcist Minute, going minute by minute through that movie. That one we've completed. We're 50 minutes or so by the time you're listening to this into every minute of everything, everywhere, all at once, where we have had Miss Mandy Kaplan on as a guest. So look for that. And we also have a show that's a spin-off of our Exorcist show called The Devil's Details, which is a look at the devil through history and literature. So yeah, you can listen to us there, please. We try to be funny. We try to be. You can hear immediately. We're trying to be funny on those shows.
They carry rubber chickens as they record.
Like, waka waka, woozle wazzle. Yes, and we you can find me on Instagram or Letterboxd as Howdy Kynan. That's Kynan. And if you're thinking about going and getting a film degree, I am an assistant professor in residence at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Department of Film, where you might encounter me in classes such as the Miyazaki Ghibli class, or the history of animation, or the history of Walt Disney the man. So come up to Vegas, join us.
Well said. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this journey of Spirited Away. Until next time.
Yay.